this conversation started after I shared with you a video interview that I did with a U.S. Professor relating to racism and discrimination against African American in the United States. So you have a pretty active line on it. So I said, okay, come on, let's talk about it. So in this conversation, we're going to be looking at race and racism, and also the concept of black and white as commonly used among both in the mainstream media and even among regular people. So let's start with your reaction to the video that I did with Dr. Kenja. Let's go with that.
Yeah, first of all, I noticed that it was, of course, heavily focused on the African American experience. And the first thing I wanted to say that made me react to that video was that people tend nowadays, there is a trend tending to put everybody in the same boat. So there is a difference, a marked difference between the experience of African Americans and the experience of foreigners, whoever they are, in Europe, for example. And it's very, very different. And there is a tendency also for people to think that countries are just open spaces that have no difference. They are just like indiscriminate. And that's, for example, the opinion of the present president of France. Thinking of a country as an open space that has no particular marker, and people can live there and they're all the same, and people move from one country to the other. This is very wrong. It is absolutely inaccurate. A country is not an open space free for all. It's just like taking a dress. Wearing a dress is not just wearing any type of thing, calling it a dress. Dresses have colors, they have special cuts, they have special, adornment and so on. So countries are marked by their history. And the first thing I want to say is that America, or say the United States, are a country with a particular history. First of all, people coming to discover, unquote, that country and finding those people that were called at the time the Red Indians. The people that were there are the autochthones. So they were there. And then after that, there was that transatlantic trade that brought thousands and thousands of Africans from different countries in Africa. And they are now part and parcel of that country. And this is not the history of Britain, it's not the history of France. You go to France, for example, you find that most people there are looking kind of the same. They are French, like would you call Franco-French, yeah? Whereas America is not the same. So that's the first thing I want to say. You enter a country as a foreigner, coming, say, for example, for me, coming from Nigeria to the UK, and I had a particular experience. One day I was on a bus in London, and I was passing through a university, and on the front glass of the university, there were pictures of alumni of that university that became famous, scientists generally. And bizarrely, I thought, how come that they are all white? And it took me some time to realize how foolish I was. That, of course, I was in Britain, so what do you expect people to look like? You understand? It's like me in Nigeria saying, why are they all black? It doesn't make sense. There is a history behind. Now, the second thing I want to say is that, like the proverb says, and I was telling you yesterday, it's not black and white. It's not all black and white. And you cannot put people in boxes. I have been a rebel concerning that. I think it's not accurate to do that, and it's frustrating because people cannot put themselves in a box. In the process, you are just removing some stuff that belongs to these people. For example, myself, I'm not white. I'm possibly not black, but anyway, I'm not white, because my ancestors come from very different places. Most of my mother's family are coming from Spain. So they have, you can see my skin is a bit, darker than people from Finland, for example, or even Scotland. And another part of my family is from the border between Germany and France. So there are people from different cultures, different languages. They are all in my DNA. And each person is different. So my mother was from Belgium. My father was from France. And in my family, there are Germans, there are people from different countries. So I don't recognize myself. I cannot tag myself as just one of them. And even by certain parts of me, I'm Nigerian. I was born French. I'm Nigerian by marriage. And now I'm living in the UK, and I'm reluctantly British because I lived there I find it difficult to adjust to that idea that I'm also British, because I don't feel British. But I decided last year to take the plunge and take the citizenship, because it's part of me. I cannot deny it. So this is the first thing I want to say. And for example, when I was in Nigeria as Onyocha, Oibo, like they would say, and I was never treated as such, except administratively. At the time before my wedding, I was what they called an alien. And I had a card that was saying alien number XYZ. And each time I left town, I had to report to the administration that alien was leaving the town or alien was coming back. And then by the time I weathered, then that was the end of it, and it had nothing to do with passports in that case. But after that, I was very much integrated and in fact assimilated, I would say, because I didn't see myself as different from the others. I belonged to the Women's Guild, the Mothers Union, the village meeting. I mixed with people. People called me by my Igbo name, and nobody was showing any sign, even fleeting, treating me like a different person. I was not. I was just part and parcel of it, And I never.
All right.
Sorry.
Professor Ugochukwu, that is very important. So that is why I'm sort of stopping you there. Because, you see, the people in the United States, the African American in the United States, are asking to be treated the same way that you were treated in Nigeria. Is that you don't need to say, because your color is this, so I give you a certain treatment, you are no longer qualified. This is not a random behavior. This is something that is a standard behavior in the United States. And by extension, also in many parts of Europe, not certain part, in many parts of Europe, that people are treated based on the color of their skin. And this treatment, in most of the cases, is positive when you are a European descent. When you are of an African descent, your treatment is almost, in most of the cases, negative. So I was interviewing a historian a couple of days ago in US. I was saying, this is even a common sense. It is not right. It is not right that we behave like that, because there it becomes almost a law that we treat people unfairly. All right, now,
Wait,
you say a lot of, please go.
You have not heard the rest of my introduction to that.
Please go.
Okay, so this was my experience in Nigeria. And now if you try to analyze it, you see that I was not a threat to those people. I was not a foreigner to them, because I was the wife of somebody that was the son of the soil. And people from the area around my husband's village or town were even calling me my wife, So I was never felt as strange because they knew I was married there. And for them, that was the most important part. And the people at the university, when I mixed with women, we were, attending, what do you call it? Baby shower, not baby showers, but baby visits and things. People knew that I was just part of the environment. But that was Nigeria. And in Nigeria, I never thought about color. I lived there 25 years. I never thought I was any different until I came to the UK. And the UK was a completely different environment.